If you're watching this video, then your podcast maybe doesn't have the listenership that you want, or doesn't have the active audience that you want, or maybe you're just looking to make some extra money and you haven't quite figured out how to do it. So today I'm going to give you 5 reasons why your podcast isn't successful. Number 1, you don't have a strong enough core message. Now, you might be thinking that this one doesn't apply to you, but listen up, because I have a great exercise from one of the best marketers alive today that will really help solidify your core message and act as like a guiding light for everything else that I'm going to be talking about today. And it's called a story brand, and it's from Donald Miller. If we think of your podcast as a story arc where your audience is the main character, then we can follow guidelines that have made stories popular for thousands of years. And it goes like this. A character has a problem, meets a guide who gives them a plan and calls them to action, which ends in success and helps avoid failure. All right, so let's look at each step of that. First, a character, which I mentioned before is your audience. You want them to be the main character of the story, not you. And you want to identify what they want. What's their desire within this fictional story? A character has a problem. So what is the root cause of their problem? And then how is it making them feel? What is their internal conflict versus what is their external conflict? So a character has a problem and meets a guide, and that's you. You want to guide them through this fictional story that we're talking about. You want to be empathetic towards what they are going through, but also offer your authority. Why are you the person that they should go to? So a character has a problem, meets a guide who gives them a plan. And this, you just want to tell them what the process looks like here. So for podcasting, it's relatively simple. Go search for the show in your favorite podcasting app, subscribe, and listen each week for blank. And then this also goes with and calls them to action, which is, we can kind of combine those two right there because it's a relatively simplified process, right? Most people know what podcasts are and how to find them. So we can kind of combine those two. So a character has a problem and meets a guide who gives them a plan and calls them to action that ends in success. What will their life look like after they listen to your show? You know, what benefits are you offering? You want to paint a picture of kind of success here, you know? Why will their life be better after they listen to your show? And then helps avoid failure. So what would their life look like if they didn't listen to your show? You know, would they be more stressed? Would there be more problems in their life? You know, you want to paint a picture here as well. If they don't listen to your show, how is their life going to get worse or stay the same? And then finally, what did the character transformation look like? You know, they went from this to this. How did they transform into a better person after, you know, listening to your story, after engaging with your podcast? All right, number 2, you are not putting enough effort into marketing. So I just put out a video kind of going into more depth about how to market your podcast more effectively, but it all kind of comes down to meeting your audience where they already are. So a couple of tips here is to go on other podcasts. The audience is already built. It's already there. So take advantage of that. Use targeted daily engagement. Go find your people on social media and just go hang out with them. Go interact with where they already are. You will be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They are already active on social media and they don't have to move anywhere. You are getting your name out there as is. And then create stronger micro content clips. You don't just want to take a chunk from your podcast and post it on social media. The editing needs to be a little bit quicker. So 3 things that you can use for your micro content clips is, number 1, have an interesting, clear hook right off the bat that can stand on its own. And then expand on that idea and don't try and go in other avenues. Just go down that one avenue that you introduced at the beginning of the clip, and then have a satisfying ending at the end of the clip. Have it, be the ending of a thought, so the audience feels like they just completed the clip. And then number 3, you're not doing enough research. So you want to research other shows and figure out what makes them successful in your niche. I recommend using Rephonic. You can go in and look at the audience size, what the demographic looks like. You can look at their social media, and then you can look through like individual episodes and find out if they had any specific guests on, what that content actually looks like within their episodes. So you can find out what makes those podcasts tick and what does your audience find enticing, intriguing. So you don't have to necessarily copy exactly what they're doing, but you can use that as inspiration so you know exactly what your starting off point is, where your audience already is, right? And number 4, your audio and your video stink. So I'm gonna give you 9 quick audio hacks to use here, and I've created other videos on this stuff, so I'll leave you to do a little bit more research. But number 1, use the best microphone available to you. Number 2, mic placement. Make sure your mic placement is good. Number 3, use correct microphone technique. Number 4, space management. Make sure you're recording in the right space. Number 5, pay attention to the levels. Make sure you are wearing headphones the whole time and make sure you're not clipping while you're recording. Number 6, have an outline ready to go. Number 7, just simple post-production stuff. EQ, compression, just make sure that everything is even and level and loud enough in post-production. Number 8, environmental awareness. Just be aware of what's going on around you outside of your room. Number 9 is record separate tracks. It's going to be easier in post-production. And then your video, I'm not as qualified here, but just make sure your background looks good. Don't record in front of a blank wall. Make sure there's something going on in your background. And your lighting looks good. I have usually a key light, which is just the sun for me, and then a fill light. You know what? Hold on. That probably looks a little bit better. So yeah, make sure your lights are turned on when you're recording and make sure your background looks good and you'll be good to go. You don't need a professional video set or anything. Number 5, you're getting burned out. Now, you might not think that this directly relates to losing listeners, but trust me, if you are tired of putting episodes out, your audience can tell and they will be less excited to tune in every week. So a couple of things to help with burnout. Number 1 is to batch your work when you can. So if it's possible, record a couple of episodes at a time and then make another time to write all the scripts that you need or any outlines that you need. Create another time to edit all of those episodes and get those things done in batches so you're not just doing everything ad hoc and getting stressed out when things need to get done. You have those set times when you're getting all of that batch work done. Number 2, fit it into your schedule. Find out where it fits in best. Some people work really well late at night. Some people work better in the morning. I know it's not always possible if you have a 9 to 5, but just find out where it fits in best in your schedule so you're not always stressed out trying to find time at the last minute. Look at your month ahead and try and fill in those spots where you are available and it makes sense to do all of that work ahead of time. Number 3, don't overdo anything. Just, make it manageable. If you're getting stressed out by over editing your show or like over producing it, then just maybe scale it back and, keep putting episodes out, because a lot of people get burned out really easily by over editing or over producing, and then they just stop putting episodes out completely. Maybe just scale back a little bit, take some time and figure out what's the minimal work that you can do, especially if this is like a side project for you. If this is just like a hobby, then what's the minimal effort that you can put in? We're lazy. Humans are lazy. We don't want to put in extra effort. So just don't overdo it. Don't burn yourself out by overproducing the show. Number 4, automate what can be automated. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. Use tools that already exist to help get things done quicker so you're not putting all that manual effort in. All right, that is it. That's 5 reasons why your podcast is not successful. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.